Hey guys, welcome back again. We're on our fourth and now final video of the Bakers Creek Cemetery in Blount County in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. We hope you've enjoyed this. I have. Let's go ahead and get started. We have Andrew Alexander Tulick, 1844 to 1865. And according to a post that we found on Found a Grave, he fought in the Civil War, but we don't know which side. Next is Carrie R. Hall Tulick, 1882 to 1900. We actually have a picture of her when she was a little girl and her last known picture. Then we have Catherine Melissa Caldwell Tulick, 1812 to 1885. James Miller Tulick, 1811 to 1859. Nancy Logan Tulick, 1766 to 1833, and I would say that her and her husband would be probably first settlers in the area. And there is a small plaque on the back of her husband's headstone, but we're not finding her gravesite. So this is her husband's grave, Magnus Tulick, 1763 to 1845. Now, Magnus was born in Kirkwall on the Orkney Islands in Scotland. His family arrived in Savannah, Georgia in 1775, and he served the American Revolution in Bowie's regiment. According to his pension application, Magnus enlisted for service at Whitehall Fort in the up country of South Carolina in 1777. He was only 13 years old, 3 years shy of the minimum age of a soldier, but not old enough to be a musician. He was sent to Charleston, South Carolina, for 6 months to learn to play the fife. Magnus's initials enlisted him for 3 years. His permanent station was at Fort Independence near Boston, which served as a deterrent to hostile Native Americans who were allied with the British at that time. And he was in the battles of Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, and the siege of 96, also in South Carolina. It was a fortified village of the British loyalists. That's some history right there, guys. Now we have Rebecca C. Tulick, 1849 to 1884. And if you notice on her stone that her name ends with the letter K. The spelling of last names varied a lot back then. I know it's happened in my family too. So also notice the flower bulb carved into the stone, which means, although she was 35 when she died, that her family felt like her life was cut short. And yes, it was, especially in our terms today. Back then, it was a lot harder living than what we are doing today. So now we have Samuel Tulick, 1805 to 1887. Andrew Vance, 1793 to 1872. And Andrew was the pastor at Bakers Creek Presbyterian Church for 42 years. And here's his wife, Nancy Ann Wilson Vance. We don't have a birth date for her, but we know she passed away in 1844. And her and Andrew were only married for 5 years before her passing. How sad. Next is Eliza J. Walker, 1847 to 1898. And her husband, James A. Walker, 1845 to 1926. And according to what we found in our sources, he fought in the Civil War, but we don't know which side. No, I'm sorry, we do know which side, Union side. Next is James C. Walker, 1874 to 1901. And his inscription on his headstone says that he was a sergeant in Company H of the 47th United States Volunteers. So we think he may have fought in the Spanish-American War. Now we have Margaret Ann McClung Webb, 1861 to 1879. She was only 17 years old when she died and had only been married for about a year. Now is Orrin Thomas Welch, 1915 to 1998. We don't have a photo of his grave, but we do know that he was a veteran of World War II. Now is Eudora Orr Williams, 1904 to 1984, and her husband, F. Revell Williams, 1905 to 1982. He served in World War II as a lieutenant colonel with the U.S. Army, and he was a pastor, but we don't know which church he pastored or what denomination. So, if anybody knows, let us know, please. And now we have Lawrence Thomas, also known as Larry Willoughby, 1936 to 2006, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Navy. Now it's A. M. Wilson, 1807 to 1830. Isabel McLean Wilson, 1775 to 1838. And she immigrated to Tennessee from Pennsylvania. So there we go. I think she was another first settler. And then her husband, John Wilson, 1776 to 1852. Next is Leslie Lyle Wilson, 1816 to 1874. That's a really odd way of spelling Leslie, but, so I guess they spelled it how they heard it, so it's pretty cool. And here we have Mary McCrosky Wilson, 1786 to 1878, along with her husband, William Wilson, 1790 to 1867. Now that we don't have a picture of their graves, but their parents were some of the early settlers of Blount County. Now we have John Wood, 1760 to 1838. We don't have a picture of his grave, but we know that he was an American Revolutionary soldier. Now is James Woods. We have no dates for him, but he served as a private in Company E of the 4th U.S. Colored Infantry in the Union Army during the Civil War. Now is Jane Allison Thompson Woods, 1802 to 1884. John Woods, 1763 to 1839. And he also fought in the American Revolution. May Emma Lane Woods, 1879 to 1909. Look at the beautiful carving on her headstone. So pretty. Now is Nicholas Bowers Woods, 1821 to 1887. He fought in the Civil War. We do know that, but we don't know which side. And now is Thomas D. Arnold Woods, 1925 to 2018. And he served in the U.S. Navy as a radio man, 3rd class, during World War II. And the last person that we're going to look at in this cemetery is Margaret Rose Bennett Wright, 1937 to 2022. Now, Margaret was born in Buckinghamshire, England. She served for 2 years in the British Royal Air Force at Finningley, England. Margaret and her family immigrated to Maryville, Tennessee in 1978 due to her husband's work. So that's pretty cool. And like I said at the beginning, this is going to finish up. Finally, I know you guys are saying, finally, we're going to get out of this cemetery. But, oh my goodness, what history lies in that ground there. It's going to finish it up, and we sincerely hope you've enjoyed these little parts of the Bakers Creek Cemetery in Tennessee. And I hope you've learned some history. We just hit little tidbits here and there of each person. If you can, get on there and find out. I'm sure there's stories out there about these people, more stories, family history. Just like I said, lots of histories laying in that ground for sure. So next week, hopefully, we'll be at a brand new cemetery for you guys to look up your ancestors, to learn some more history about Smoky Mountains, East Tennessee, first settlers. We hope you've enjoyed it. I'm so glad that you stuck with us and not got bored and over this cemetery. But we're going to move on next week, and we hope to see you then. Hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.